You know, if you can score the goal, it doesn't really matter if you pass it or not. So.
That's fantastic. I'm gonna tell that to every single teammate that flames me from now on. How's everyone doing? SwasAye back with another episode of Rocket League Decision Make. Today, I am with a guy who is, most importantly, a grand of grand champions. He has about 3,400 hours in this game, 2,500 played, maybe a little bit more, and a bunch of hours casting. And yes, it is Squid from RLRS, the caster himself, here with us today. Squid, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I just had supper, so I'm so happy. I get this opportunity. No, but in all reality, this is a great opportunity. I have to give you a huge shout out for having me on.
Perfect, thank you. Let's just jump right into these questions. What type of game mode in Rocket League do you prefer? Ones, twos, threes, anything weird?
I take a preference naturally to the standard modes. I really prefer threes myself, because it allows me to make risky plays that I wouldn't usually be able to make in twos and ones. And then off those risky plays, you might get some cheeky goals or some passes that you say, that's one of the ways that I like to play. So I really love threes for that reason. It allows me to take so many more risks than I usually could.
Cheeky answer off the bat, which transitions quickly into question number 2. What is your overall style in Rocket League?
I feel like you might get a little bit of an idea from what I just said, but I really do like to play like the monkey man, upfield, just doing whatever. So overall, that translates into a style where I'm really just trying to play in a position that my opponents wouldn't expect, but my teammates have the opportunity to pass to me. And so I'm talking about playing way up on the opposing backboard. I'm talking about making touches back to my teammates at the midfield.
I'll ask just because I'm curious. Do you feel certain styles work better than others? Do you think your style could be one of the top tier styles?
Well, you do see it utilized a couple of times in pro level play. I feel like a lot is really one of the prime examples of that. We all know the famous a lot ceiling shot from the very top corner of the opposing net, which that was absolutely ridiculous, I'll say. And that's what really I feel sparks that style of play for lots of people. Don't feel like it's the number one choice for everybody. It's more of a get to know your teammates first. Other than that, I would use it very sparingly because it can be difficult to really coordinate your rotations and timing well enough to utilize this style of play.
Perfect. Question number 3, easy one. Do you warm up before you play?
Nope. I just hopped right into ranked.
Really? That is surprising.
I used to warm up way back in the day in Season 3 when I was a complete tryhard. I hadn't been Grand Champion yet, so in Season 2 I was only Champion. As time has gone on, I kind of moved away from trying to play on a more competitive level. That's when I got into casting. And so now I just jump into ranked games. I'm just trying to have fun in a slightly competitive environment.
Perfect. Question number 4. You kind of might have answered this question, but as of lately, do you do any training?
Oh, yeah, I definitely do training. I mean, I do free play all the time, as everyone does. Sometimes I'll just get on, play 20 minutes of free play, and get off because I'm a little bit bored. But that's basically how you do it in Rocket League. Obviously, training packs are useful, but for things like basic redirects, I've had plenty of in-game experience.
Okay, and then this is question number 5 before we jump into the tougher questions. And it might be a little bit of a gimme for you, but do you ever watch anyone else play Rocket League, be it Twitch, YouTube, anything like that?
Okay, yeah, I can understand why that's a little bit of a gimme. Of course, I watch other people play. It's kind of one of my jobs now. I thoroughly enjoy watching other people play Rocket League. I will say, it is pretty hard to impress me with a lot of shots. So if you hear me react in a certain way on a broadcast, then you know that I was actually impressed by that shot.
All right, perfect. What got you, Squid, into Rocket League?
This is going to be the odd one. And I know this is actually kind of common for a couple of people, but, hardcore esports followers, Squid, actually first saw Rocket League off of Markiplier on YouTube. Yeah. So it wasn't actually me watching Rocket League esports. That is what got me into RL esports in the first place, but into the game at all. I was watching a Markiplier video. I got the game and played for about 4 hours straight before my PC busted and I had to wait 2 days to play it again. And actually, that's the time, that 2-day span is when I was watching a lot of Rocket League on YouTube because I wanted to get more content. That's when I discovered RL Esports.
Question number 7, though. I want you to think about this one. You can only choose one. Mechanics or positioning?
I mean, is this a real question, though? You say it's a hard question, and I can understand why a lot of people would think that. But actually, I have a better analogy for this. I have been playing this game for a while, right? I play on keyboard and mouse. So that's pretty odd for some people. When I went to go play Rocket League on my Switch, I was still able to grind up to Champion 3. That is how much more important positioning is than actual mechanics, because I could only do very basic aerials. Once in a blue moon, I would actually like hit a ball for the second time in a row off the wall. But I basically was completely incompetent when it came to mechanics when I was playing those games. So it really was just me being able to recognize which situations were appropriate for me to make a touch on, and then just making that basic touch.
Let's jump into question number 8. When you started out, what is one thing that you wish you knew?
Now, I'm actually going to have to think about this one. I think this is the first question I'm actually going to have to genuinely think hard about. Honestly, I think I wish I would have known how big of a scene Rocket League was going to be, because if I had known what the pro scene looked like right now, I probably would have grinded that much more hard.
Number 9, what is your biggest weakness in Rocket League?
My biggest weakness, I think, is the amount of risks that I'll take. I often go for outlandishly risky dunks. Sometimes it works out, and sometimes I have like really good days, but it often is my bane, honestly, because I'll go for these random plays and I'll miss entirely, and suddenly it's a 2v1 the other way or 3v2 the other way, and it just takes me out of the play. I do absolutely nothing useful. I've wasted boost. I can't recover quickly, and suddenly it's just a complete detriment.
Question number 10, what is your biggest strength?
I think my biggest strength is trying to find my teammates. And I know, everyone's going to say you're biased, it's my own point of view. But I mentioned that the style I try to play is, I try to make outlandish passes. I go for stuff, again, that the opponents wouldn't expect. So I feel like passing is definitely one of the things that I try to do best.
Wonderful answers. It's going to be just 1 second for everyone else, but we'll be right back to talk about some key moments. All right, and we're back. That was 1 second for everyone else, but for me and Squid, that was what, about 3 years?
It felt like it, honestly. It's been ages.
It's been a week or so. It has. As I'm about to start off this replay, the whole idea is these decisions that happen in the game. But for you, for number 1, we're gonna cycle through this real quick. Your camera settings, compared to some other people, are pushed up a little bit. And I wanted to ask about that, because you're a high-level player. Have you ever played around with your camera settings, or has this always been it?
Playing with my camera settings was more of an intermediate thing. So when I was around 1,000 hours, I think was the point when I started to realize that my camera was probably really bad. So I started screwing around with it. But ever since I stopped trying to really become a top-level player, I haven't really messed around with my camera too much. It's always served me well enough. It helps me hitting the ball by being pushed up that little bit closer. And also, if you have a little bit of bad eye, sometimes it can help see the player names. But you always have the nameplates for that, so.
Perfect. Well, key moment number 1 is actually going to happen pretty early into the game, and it's going to be a little bit of a scramble, I might say. So right here, key moment number 1, that ball's up in the air, and we're going to see you look backwards.
Right.
Now I want to know, Squid, in this scenario, what are you thinking?
Right. Well, actually, if you want to back it up a couple of seconds, you can see basically what's happening is as soon as I go for this ball, I try to make this challenge in the corner. That's so high up in the air, I only have 18 boost. And the problem with that is I've lost all of my momentum trying to get up on that wall. So there's no realistic way I can beat the opponent to that spot. So if I try to go up that wall there, it would be an entire waste of time. It would be a waste of the remainder of my boost, and it would make me a slow third man back. By going back here, I'm also placing faith in my teammates, which, as you saw, when I reversed my camera, I could see one of my teammates on the wall and one on the floor behind me. So I knew that they most likely had the situation under control in the event of an opposing clear, and being a rotating third man would allow them to push up just that little bit more.
That's fantastic to hear. So out of the 15 episodes or so that I've recorded so far, I haven't seen anyone use the back camera yet. So part two to this question is actually pretty simple, especially for this one. But are you happy with this? Are you happy that you checked behind you?
I mean, it was not really going to immediately impact my decision in that instance, but it was going to just give me that little bit more knowledge, so that way I can make an educated decision as to what I'm going to do immediately following that. So it would have been most likely turn into the midfield or just go straight for the back boost, which I believe I went for the back boost in that situation.
I believe you are correct. Here is key moment number 2. Obviously, you see the enemy of shoes right next to you. Socks, he's coming in. I want to know, in this scenario, you boost in front of you, Socks to the right. What are you thinking here?
Well, I mean, any Rocket League player knows that boost is one of the most important parts of the game. I see my opponent going for the boost. My teammates have absolutely no chance of reaching it before him. So, might as well steal it, right?
Perfect. So you're actually going to swerve into him and get that bump. Fantastic. Nice little pinch out right there. But are you satisfied with how well that came off, bump included?
Considering the bump, yes. I mean, I could have tried to go for a demo, but from where I was, the T-bone was most likely going to be a little bit of a risk. So I went for the boost steal. I don't think I actually got it watching that clip, so that's unfortunate. But getting the bump at least makes him a little bit slower, maybe disorients him for the next play.
All right, perfect. And we were just going to, honestly, we were going to flow so well along. Moment 3 coming up right here. He's set up. Little bit of a bounce right there. Goes for the bump. Now, I'm going to back this up one more time.
Sure.
While this ball is in the air right here, Squid, the analyst, what's going through your mind right now? Are you going for the flip reset? Are you trying to get absolutely insane with this? Or are you thinking maybe, hey, I want to be devious. Let's fake this guy.
Well, actually, if you do want to back it up once more, just so we can get a bit more perspective, I ran out of boost just the moment before. I wanted to get a second hit on this ball. You can see coming off the wall, I only had 27 boost, so I actually expended most of it trying to get more lateral momentum so I could get a second touch on the ball and hopefully screw up the defensive socks. I don't think there is realistically any chance of me getting that goal, but you could see immediately after I did try to go for the bump to at least try and clear him out there while I still have momentum in that direction. Didn't work out, but hey, it's always worth a try.
Perfect. Well, we're going to see you beat 2 defenders, send a ball in, we get a goal out of it. So altogether, are you happy with that fake, or do you wish you had the extra 10, 15 boost to finish that off?
To be honest, you know, the outcome of the play as a whole could have been a lot different if I had that 10 or 15 boost. If I did make the extra touch, he might have been able to clear it out more effectively to the corner as opposed to keeping it in the zone, which allowed us to keep the offense up. So it's really kind of variable. It's kind of butterfly effect stuff when you think about it, because if he did clear it out to the corner, maybe my teammates weren't ready for that second touch that I made and ended up being completely out of position for it. So it caused a lot of issues down the line. Yeah. So I am relatively happy with how that turned out.
Okay. All right. That's good to hear. We got about a minute until the fourth, quote-unquote, final moment. Your teammate there is going to give you a nice little love tap. And what we're going to see is this ball coming down into the corner here. Challenge. Teammate not quite getting that pass off, and he felt bad about that one. But right here, we see a backflip that results in... maybe the best way to explain it is kind of like a lost 50-50. Yeah. Now, in that scenario, what are you thinking? Is it something along the lines of I just want to get in the way, or is it more?
Well, that was definitely a I want to get in the way situation, because if you do back it up again, I think my line of thinking here was most likely in relation to what happened to Ninja, because I didn't actually see him when I was retreating there, so I wanted to try and buy time, and you can see it actually worked out. However, it was not the 50-50 result I wanted. I more wanted to stall in that spot, considering that I hadn't seen Ninja at all. The loss that I sustained there was actually very poor. Okay. Because if Ninja hadn't been in that position, if he hadn't been aggressively pushing that ball, it very easily could have turned into a goal against, especially if he had been bumped out of position. So that 50-50 as a whole was actually poor. If I had timed it right, however, it should have stalled the opponent, maybe given me an opportunity for a second stall opportunity, and then my team would definitely have enough time to get back into the defensive third.
That's fantastic to hear. So you beat me to the second part of the question. It is, are you happy with what happened there? It sounds like in the scenario, the fact that Ninja was there, it could have been a better 50-50, but that also could have resulted a lot worse for us, correct?
Yeah, basically, the 50-50 did not come out how I wanted, but I had bought just enough time for my teammate, and he knew where he needed to be in that instance. So while I'm not necessarily happy with the outcome in that exact moment, I can just look behind me, and as soon as I see Ninja there, I'm okay with that.
And we could blame your teammate there for not finding the open guy in the middle. That SwasAye guy, I don't know how I feel about him. Other teams forfeits. He did. Thank goodness, because he's the one making this video, and he doesn't want to look bad. Question number one.
You know, if you can score the goal, it doesn't really matter if you pass it or not. So.
That's fantastic. I'm gonna tell that to every single teammate that flames me from now on. Question number one, though. Is there anything in this game, Squid, that you would change from your perspective?
Honestly, I don't think that I would. I don't think I would, because I think I played patiently and carefully enough to the point where I didn't cause any significant issues for my team. The only real I saw one or two situations. I think I went for a challenge in the midfield that ended up being an opportunity for the opponents. They didn't actually capitalize off of it because I think they hit it out to the corner, but I did commit as a third man without making a touch. So there was that one thing, and then that loss 50-50 obviously wasn't the greatest, but it didn't result in a goal against either. So all in all, I think it was a pretty decent game.
Fantastic. Now this easily goes into number 2. Overall, are you happy with the decisions you made in this game?
In this game, yes.
Okay. Now, the way you said that, I'll ask a follow-up question. Are you typically happy with the decisions you make in a Rocket League match? Or are there times that you find yourself, even at the tip top, the Grand Champ level, wishing that you were doing things differently from time to time?
Well, I'll say this. It really does depend on the day. Everyone knows that you have lows and you have highs in Rocket League. So on those high days, a lot of games you're going to be out there. You're going to be, being speedy to the ball. You're going to be making consistent touches, maybe getting a sick shot or two on a good angle. But and those are the days when you're going to be the most confident in your decisions. You're not really going to second guess yourself. But I actually kind of in a slump right now, so I think I have the best perspective on this. When you're in a low, you're definitely thinking about everything too much. You're going to go up for a ball and then think to yourself, is the opponent going to beat me? Am I going to make contact with this? Am I going to make the right touch if I do make contact? And that second guessing can really be harmful. But at the same time, it's not necessarily a bad thing to do. If you do it once or twice a game, just taking note of something that you did and saying to yourself, oh, I don't think I should have gone for this. We'll think about that maybe next time. Let's wait to see. I don't want to wait. Sorry. You don't want to wait to see if your opponent goes up. You want to go up before your opponent goes up. Yeah. You think that your opponent's going to go up, so you're going to try and get up before he is, or just try and bait him. Maybe the ball's a lot closer to you, so you're going to try to bait him into going for it and then touch it away. Something like that. Trying to second guess yourself. Second guessing is beneficial when you learn and adapt in that very same game, but not if it's basically nonstop all the time and it's causing you significant issues.
Before we take off, plug away, Squid. What do you have that you want to talk about?
Watch Season 8 of the Rival Series.
Season 8 of the Rival Series. Do you know when that starts?
Yes. I do not, no.
No, I don't. It's not out yet. I don't think so. If it is out by the time that I am done editing this video, there will be a link here at the very bottom letting everyone know to check that out. But you can definitely follow Squid on his Twitter. You want to plug it?
Yeah, it's at Squid_RL. It's kind of, using the underscore sucks, but, sometimes it's got to happen.
Hey, it's fitting. And any other social medias that you would possibly be found on for Rocket League?
I mean, if anyone wants to get in touch, just hit me up on Discord. I'm usually trolling around the Rocket League Discord, so you can find me there.
Fantastic. Season 8 of the Rocket League Rival Series. I'm so excited. It's going to be a blast. It is. And RLDM. Yeah. With all of the things that have recently happened, all of the roster moves, it's going to make for an interesting season. So, we're going to end right here, me and you, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to give everyone my final thoughts right now. All right, time for some final thoughts. Let's jump into it real quick. Number 1, it isn't often that you hear a Grand Champ talk about having fun, but Squid alludes to it quite a few times in this video, and that's important to get to that high of a rank. Number 2, the Rocket League butterfly effect. These little moments, these key moments, influence the outcome of every single game. I like to think of it as a series of battles in a war. Attrition. It's one giant collection, but a bunch of little key moments. And then number 3, check out the Rocket League Rival Series. I mean, the pros, the commentating, the games, all of it is absolutely incredible. Do not sleep on it at all. Huge thank you to you, Squid. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Comment down below. Talk about how hyped you're going to be for RLRS. And subscribe if you want to see more of these. Thanks, and I'll see you soon. Bye.